We're having a discussion currently about...
Our discussion has made me forget what our podcast is about.
Well, it doesn't matter, because right now we're having a discussion and the people are going to chime in about it.
We're not allowed to use the word argument.
It's not. It's a heated discussion.
A heated discussion.
That's not heated. What am I talking about? Heated is us trucking things. No.
We're not allowed to get heated.
No, we are not. No, it's not good. But we're having a discussion about time and time frame of things. And we're like, Meg has 7 minutes.
7 minutes until I like to leave.
Right.
I never leave at that time. It's usually 10 minutes after that.
And I have no concept of time whatsoever. I couldn't tell you what day it is, what time it is. I don't know.
I tell myself that I will be at daycare to pick up the youngest right about this second right now. Usually I get there in about 10 minutes from now. Right now we're going to make a 15 to 20 minute podcast, which means I'll be half an hour later than I think in my head that I show up, and 15 minutes later than I usually show up. But at the end of the day, he gets picked up.
This is true. This is one of the hats that we wear.
Yeah. So the many hats.
Chauffeur drivers.
Yes. Ooh,
that's
chauffeurs. How many kids have we chauffeured? How many? This is the intro. I'm not going to ask you any questions. This is the many hats of an entrepreneur.
Welcome to the Chronicles of Caffeine and Ambition, hosted by the Cinder Sisters. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Megan. And what we are here to do on our podcast is tell you about business, life, families, essentially everything that we do, we want to share with you because we have a lot of self-confidence. We've learned a lot of self-confidence over the years.
We sure have.
And we want to share that with you. We want to show you how.
Let's do this.
Okay, look. I want you to name a number. Any number that comes to the top of your head.
13. No.
I didn't ask the question yet.
Oh, sorry. You just said any number.
Squirrel. How many hats do you wear as an entrepreneur?
I don't know. 52.
It's a good number.
Yeah, I don't think it's fairly rounded. It's not quite, halfway to 100, just a little bit over,
I mean, I probably would have gone with like 5,982.
How about shut up, overachiever, okay?
I'm not saying that I want to. This isn't a competition.
My memory's crap.
Doesn't win. Most amount of hats gets burned out.
Oh, we are there. Could be I've just forgotten, completely forgotten the past of the amount of hats I've worn.
It's a lot. The answer is a lot.
Okay, fine.
Doesn't matter. 52 is a lot of hats. Like, how many people in a normal job would have 52 tasks that they need to do?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Probably not that many.
Yeah, fair.
There's a lot of hats.
Yeah.
So, to start off on a funny note, what is the worst hat you've ever worn as an entrepreneur?
There isn't just one. Do you remember fixing a toilet on the same day? What were we doing that day?
I don't know, but we were dressed up nicer than we should have been to be fixing a toilet.
That sounds fairly average for what we do, because we have to dress up nice for our job so that when people see us, we don't look like complete hobos just walking off the street, because we do when if you're painting something or drywalling or fixing a toilet. And not just fixing, like taking the toilet off, replacing the whole toilet. And the wax seal, if you know anything about a toilet, like the wax seal underneath and the poo that goes along with it. That's a disgusting job.
It's a pretty gross job.
I don't envy any plumber. Thank you for doing what you do, because it's awful. No, thank you.
Agreed.
That's not even a horrible job for a plumber. Oh, the skunk. When we had to take the skunk out of here with Dad, and Dad decided to put it in the back of his car because he thought that was just a great idea. And I'm like,
I mean, in his defense, what else was he going to do with it?
I think it's a good point. You can't walk around.
You can't walk. Skunk in a cage.
It worked the first time. It was twice. The first time, it worked real well. We got it in the back of the car. We drove it out, dropped it off. All was great. Second time, I didn't go with Dad, and he wasn't so lucky. They sprayed the car.
Their car smelled for so long.
So long, like a skunk. It was really bad. It was really bad.
And the smell's gone now. I think it's been a couple of years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all kind of bad.
Skunks, mice.
Mice. Oh my gosh, I'm the resident mice person. It's almost like Meg just hides when there's mice, because we're in an old house. We're in a house. I don't care where you are. I don't care what business you have. There's mice.
It is an old house. It makes it worse.
Yes.
We're in a small town, and it was smaller than it is now. Like, right at the second, it's growing.
Yes.
So the proportion of animals we have to deal with is larger than you might in a city. Although we've never had to deal with rats.
Knock on wood somewhere.
Knock on
Thank
wood.
goodness those I wouldn't pick up, and I'm sorry, that's a hands down not me job. I tap out.
Yeah.
That or snakes. Tapping out.
Azzy will help you with the snakes.
That's fine. She can, and I want to be nowhere near here.
But I mean, yes, the amount of rodents. And I'm sorry, I do sort of just run away when everybody's like, there's a rodent to be taken care of. Or the other half of that is that you're always earlier than me because I'm taking a kid somewhere. So you're already on
I don't even know if that, because I was always on mouse duty, even when my kids were young.
You know how.
I think I just got pushed to that task. I think that's what it was. Those are some of the most disgusting
You're so
hats I
good
have.
at it.
Oh, thanks. Ugh. Ugh. No.
Manipulation 101.
Yeah. I don't think so. It's just been about being like, not have to fight in front of the clients or in front of our team. Yeah.
And to make it not a big deal. To just be like, yes, I'll do it.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
I'll get that mouse.
Okay, I will say I did the bat. Me and Mum took care of the bats, which is crazy.
Not all of them.
Which is
not
crazy.
all of them, because Dad had to come. So not even in
but
this.
that was when I was on my own in the apartment. Like when I lived in the apartment. When they were in the building, not this building.
The other building we had. They were in the other building we had, and they liked to roost in the attic portion of it. And yes, that was awful. And yes, you got caught with them because they were in your house because you lived upstairs. Yes. And so that was bad. Dad ended up, we had enough of them that Dad would build a bat catcher.
Yeah. Yeah.
that we kept in the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, you're right. And Mega's terrified of bats. Like, it's actually funny.
It's not unrealistically. It's like your fear of snakes. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Logical.
None.
But you're terrified.
Yep.
I am terrified of bats for no reason whatsoever.
Yep.
And I was the one who caught the first several when they were in that building.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm terrified. Maybe my fear came from that.
No, because when we were young and we were in Cuckoo's Nest and there was bats in the house then, you were a nut job then.
You're right. I was always terrified.
Yeah.
You can hear them.
You can I wish everybody could see your face right now.
Complete off the topic segue. I actually saw somebody on TikTok getting a tattoo of Batty from Ferngully the other day, and I was like, I should get a bat that's Batty, because I feel like Batty most of the time, and I'm afraid of bats.
That's weird, because I've always thought about I should get a snake, which is absurd because I don't like them. I watched one.
We're getting tattoos.
Tattoos it is. Completely off topic.
Completely off topic.
I don't know if your brain works like our brain, but that's how our brain goes.
Batty.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the best job? What is one of the things that comes to mind as one of like the best hats, the things you love doing the most?
I love the idea of designing things. Like when we get to rearrange rooms and redesign, like interior design. I love the idea of that until I'm in the midst of it, like in the thick of it, and I'm like, this is terrible. What am I doing?
I don't feel like that answered the question.
It didn't, did it, eh? I love the idea of that. What is, okay, all right. I don't know. What's yours? Why are you asking me all the questions? I'm really getting interrogated here. No, what's yours?
I don't know if you've never noticed, but that's essentially how
Is that how these podcasts go? You just stick me in a room and be like, so Stace,
put this mic on and answer my questions.
Should be the Stacey's podcast.
One of my favorites. There's a couple that come to mind. So I love the family unity you see when a bride says yes to her dress.
Okay.
Like that happiness, that endorphin rush, that feel that I'm having trouble explaining, that like rush of emotion.
Yeah.
I do love that.
That's
even
fair.
after this amount of time.
That's fair. I do love that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like it's
the crying.
Yeah.
When you actually get that emotional that you cry and mom cries and the bride cries and it's not sad. It's just a happiness, like a relief, like a joy. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. You're right. That's a very cool.
That overwhelming, joyful emotion. That's pretty incredible. And then wedding days, as stressful as they are, but when we go to weddings, they are one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. Mine have been smaller than yours, so you weigh in on the big ones, but it's so intimate. And like the family taking care of the bride, and like the one that I was at, and they like her son took care of her, and I could see my son in him and he's young now, but I could see that being him in time. And that, again, family unity, I guess it's the emotion of it.
I love the way everyone we've gone to, the family involves us as if we're just part of it, like part of the family. Like, eat. Yeah. Like, come in, what do you need? What do you want? Do you want a drink? And I'm like, no, I'm here to work. And they're like, no, sit, eat. And you're like, what? No. So that, yes, you're right. The day of wedding, part of it is awesome. Love that. Love. And I love the stress. Like, I love the stress that leads up to it, because it's always stressful. And it is stressful because the bride is complete, and you have to stay like, everything's fine. Everything's great. Don't worry. Oh no, we got this. And you're like, oh my gosh.
I think this leads back to our addiction to endorphin rushes, our adrenaline addiction. But
we don't jump out of planes.
We're just going to pass by that. You did.
I did.
I swam with stingrays.
Yes.
Apparently, it's not that dangerous just to swim with sharks. I'm just going to throw that out there.
How about never?
Me and Chris will go.
Yeah, that's fine. You guys can go do that. I'll watch you from way far, far away with binoculars.
What else? Okay, a random one for me that has to do with paperwork. The bank reconciliation, which is not necessary. It's becoming not my job anymore, but it's such a puzzle to get all the paperwork to fit together. It always felt like a puzzle. And in the beginning, it made me cry. And then when I tried to pass it on to other people, it always made them cry, because it's just so frustrating when it won't work out.
Yep.
But when it does work out, it's like solving a puzzle, and it feels so good.
Yes. Okay, fair. The most proud. Or not most proud. Does that make sense? Like, for me, the hat that I wear, like when we did the renovations during COVID, and we did all the renovations on the house, and we did it ourselves, and we learned how to do things. Like, we learned how to do crown molding. Never done that before in my life. But we all did it as a team. That was a cool hat to wear.
So it's kind of like the stretching, like the learning, the pushing boundaries.
Yeah,
pushing
totally.
What we're capable of.
Totally, yeah. And not just us, like, the team did it. We all did it together, and we figured it out together, or somebody figured it out and then they showed the rest of us. I thought that was a very cool thing that one felt good.
It's interesting, because I think what I've just seen in everything that we listed is it's like being a pioneer. It's like being the first one who leads the charge to do the thing, to show that it's not that bad. Which is funny, because that's what we just came down to recently, that is now our job, to start the thing. Our consistency is not great.
No.
We need people to help us with the follow through, because we're squirrels and we get distracted.
Yes.
But our starting of the thing, there's like the lack of fear. It's fun. Also, sorry, my brain is all over the place right now. But this is, again, my kids have like no concept of fear.
That's true.
And I'm like, where do they get this from?
I have no idea, Meg.
So we apparently we don't fear the starting.
No, not really.
I like that hat.
I enjoy when somebody says you can't, or that's crazy. I enjoy that hat probably the most, because I'm like, I'll show you.
Well, it used to be, we used to take it as well, watch me. I mean, I'm not saying that we don't in some way now. We do. But it used to come off as like they were saying that we couldn't.
Right.
We heard it as a negative, like, oh, you can't do that. That's crazy. Now, when somebody says, oh, that's crazy, our answer is like, isn't it?
I know, right? I know. I'm so excited to try it.
My attempt when I meet outside people, not the people inside our building, like our brides and stuff, but when I meet exterior people, my goal is to make them think that I'm slightly off my rocker.
I enjoy that. I enjoy riding that bus.
Yeah.
Personally, I've ridden it for a long time, and I've now accepted it. Even my kids, Mom, just stop. You're crazy. And I'm like, I know.
You never know what we're going to do next.
Right?
So much fun. What would be one of the hats that you would give up the easiest?
Giving them all up. Right now, the sewing hat. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would give up sewing for sure. I think it's just because we've done it for so long, and I'm over it. I used to enjoy sewing. I used to enjoy the challenge of it. Now I'm like, ugh, nah. I would say the posting on social. I enjoy the people thing of social, and I enjoy the social aspect of social, but I don't. If I could just, like we always say, have a GoPro on me, and then just give that GoPro to somebody else and be like, go make the content to put on, and I'm totally fine with whatever you post. The making of it, I find so time consuming that I'm like, I could be doing so many other things with that, but I don't mind making the content. So probably the actual posting and making of the content, I would happily give that up.
You're right. We're sort of giving all the aspects away, because my first thought was the paperwork, but I'm not giving it away easily.
No, you're not. Meg gives away things way less. What's the right word? Neither of us are coming up with good words today. Meg does not give away things easily. We don't give up to a detriment.
To a detriment. I'm honestly not even coming up with something that I do right now.
We've just gone through a massive change, though, in the roles and how the business has run. So we've given up a lot of things already. Like, we've handed over a ton of what we do. So now our roles are actually going to the next thing, creating the next startup. So that's our role. Mm-hmm. And there isn't too much. Like, we're dabbling in some of the old stuff, but only little bits, and we know that it's not going to last for long. So I don't know if there's anything.
Well, and that's it. Like, the paperwork, I am now coming to grips with being happy to get rid of it. Like, that would have always been one of my answers, even when I was doing it. It's my top of mind answer right now that's the happiest thing to give up.
Yeah.
Because it's time consuming. I am never on time with it. It was never my priority.
Yeah.
I'm not the best at it. I did it for 20 years, so I'm better than many.
Yes.
But it's not something I learned like through school or learned properly in any way whatsoever.
Or not something you aspired to be. Like, I didn't want this, and it's not the job you wanted to do. It just fell on you.
Yes, exactly. So that's my top of mind answer. But I'm barely doing any of it right now, so it doesn't feel like that could be my answer. But then that's my same thought process for everything else. HR is not really my thing anymore.
Nope.
Like, I gave that over, or I'm in the process of giving it over, I guess. So now I'm having a mental moment of, but I don't have anything to give over. I've given away
Meg
all my hats.
Oh my God, Meg doesn't have a hat anymore.
I don't have any hats. What did I say? 5,982? I have 0.
No, we're in the purging hat, because we're in the midst right now of moving shops. So you and I are on.
We're in the renovations. I run around a lot. I'm in between multiple places. But that's the problem, and we've always had this problem that when we don't feel like we sat and did something in a day, we don't feel like we did anything.
Fair. Yeah.
It has been a very long time of learning to. If I feel like I haven't been productive today, then I force myself to list the things that I did do.
Yeah.
Even if it's only a couple, my day is extremely scattered back and forth. Worse now that the kids are off school.
Yes.
But extremely scattered in the amount of things that I do. And one day I might aim for some consistency, but I like
being able to stop and like do an hour worth of work and then stop and then take the kids to do something. And then be able to go back to the work in, a couple hours. That part's very nice. And I think it's a little bit easier to do that now.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Or show up at 2:00 and have a meeting and then go to the new shop and do some renovation stuff and then make a podcast.
Like she did today.
That was my day.
She showed up at 2:00 today.
I showed up at 2:00. I said, oh, hi.
Oh, hi, good afternoon.
I'm here for work.
But she's not telling you that we will talk about shop stuff at 10 o'clock at night when neither of us sleep.
I will I'll search for suppliers later. I
Correct.
will contact all of the construction people that are helping us with the shop later. There's 1,000 other things that I'll do. But it took me a very long time to realize that all of those things matter and all of those things need to get done.
They have to get, and they're the starter things. They're the things, if they don't get done, none of the other things happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yes.
The containment of all of the, the forest for the trees kind of thing.
Correct.
I contain all of the little things. I don't think I can give that over. I'm not sure I want to. Leave me the one hat.
The fire putter outer hat? Is that what kind of?
Is it?
No. The collector hat?
The collector?
That doesn't sound good either.
I think that's I think it's a name of a demon or something in a show that I watched.
So let's not, well, I mean, some days it's quite suiting. Let's not call it that though.
What's the one hat that you want that we don't have yet? What hat do you want to add to our repertoire of 52 hats? What's your 53rd?
Oh my gosh. A hat that's big enough to cover my face so that when we're in the south of France or when we're in Spain or Portugal, I don't get sunburned. That hat?
The hat of chateau owner.
Yes.
Remember the podcast that we did and we talked about you getting a 9-to-5 job and how crazy that job description would have to be for you to be able to get a 9-to-5
The dreamer.
job?
Bring in the dreamer.
I think that should be your aspiration.
Okay, I mean, I'm down with that hat.
Your one hat is the dreamer.
I already have that hat, though. I do it all the time.
Yeah, but I said the one hat. It doesn't have to be one that you don't have already.
Oh, okay.
The one. I don't actually remember what question I asked you, but now I'm asking.
Okay, my answer is the dreamer hat. Yes.
The dreamer hat.
Yes,
Perfect.
I like that hat very much, actually. I think I'm in the manifester hat. going to tell Chris when I get home. He's going to be so upset.
He's still not going to let us do podcasts anymore.
No, he's not.
It's a whirlwind of entrepreneurial journey. It's a whirlwind of what day is today.
Yes, exactly.
All day, every day.
Every day.
I would really actually like to enjoy, wow, that was a terrible sentence.
That was a Stacey sentence right there. That's what that was.
That was a wrap up this podcast because I can't speak anymore. I would really like to know from the entrepreneurs who follow us, what is your goal hat?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, what's that one hat that you aspire to have?
Yeah, I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
You've heard ours, let's hear yours.
Yep.
Until next time.
Bye, guys.